Right, what does CopyWith do? CopyWith gives us a way to recreate a new version of the object with the new values that we've passed to it. Right, so this is how it usually works. In the constructor of the CopyWith method, in the signature of it, we take each property of that class, but we make sure that they're nullable. Right, so let's go ahead and build it out so you don't get confused as I speak. Let's go ahead and do this. So we can see it will return a user model. Right, so we want a user model after we copy the data over. Right, so we will copy with. Right, so what do we want to copy across? What do we want to copy across, or what do we want to change? What properties do we want to change? So what properties do we have then? We have the string avatar. We're making it nullable because what if what the person wanted to change was only the name? We can't force them to change the avatar ID and create that. So if they give the avatar, then we know they want to change the avatar. So we keep the rest of them the same way, and we only change the avatar. So let's go ahead and do for the rest of them. ID string created at string name. We want to make each of them nullable, because what if that's not what we want to change? And then we can simply do this, and we can return a new user model, right? And that new user model will have, let's go ahead and format this bit. All right, so now that user model's avatar. What avatar are we going to use? We're going to use the avatar that we've got here. And if they haven't passed that avatar, we will simply use the already existing avatar of the object, right? So if we already had the user, then that user already has an avatar ID created at a name, right? If they didn't give an avatar when they were copying with, it simply means that the avatar, they don't want to change it, they want to keep it, they want to copy the existing user model by changing the name, but then copying the new user model along with the old values kept. I don't know if you understood what I said. I don't even know what I've said, but this is basically what we're doing, right? So we're simply saying, for example, we want to change the name. When we say, let me go ahead and do this. Void main final user is equal to user.empty. No, let's go ahead and do it with the user model, because the user itself does not have this, remember. So when we want to do extensive stuff, we want to do so. This person also needs an empty function, so I'm just going to copy this one over. Copy that one over. It returns a user model. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. So we have a user model.empty at const modifier. Change this version to constant. No, stop. We want to change this to a constant. Remove the constant over here. Right, so if we want to change the user's value, this user's value, then we have to save it to a new user. So final new user will be equal to the old user dot copy with. So we're simply trying to change their name alone. We want their name to this time be Paul, right? So this is what we're saying. Essentially, we're saying take the old user and copy all of their values, all of its old values. In this case, the avatar, the ID, and the creator. That copy all those with this new value, right? So copy the ones that I haven't changed here with these ones. So if it was only this one, then we would say with this one that I've changed. If it was more than one, so for example avatar, then we're copying with these ones, right? So with the new avatar as well. So this is essentially what we're going to be doing when we want to create new versions of our stuff, right? So if the ID is empty, use this.id. We're going to do the same thing with created at. We use this.created at, right? So if you want to know how I did that, I simply did Command D. So I copied this. Sorry. I copied this and I did Control D. It just gave me that. So I'm saying this is not use this.name. Right, so this is our copy with. Now, if you don't want to have to go through the stress of writing all of this yourself, you can simply go over to your user, right click on it, and say generate. Why don't we do it in the user model? Because it wouldn't work. Because the user model doesn't have any properties. It only takes stuff in its constructor. So for the generator to work, it needs to know the properties. In this case, we have the properties defined here. So this is why we're doing them here. So you can go ahead and say generate. You can generate copy, and you select everything, right? Select everything because we want to copy with everything, right? So copy with for us. We can go ahead and generate a to map and from map. We can also do that and it generates them for us and so forth. But I prefer writing them by hand. Right, so we can either do that, and after doing that, we copy them. Make sure you cut them. You don't leave them in here. The entity is just a blueprint, and then you put them in here. You come and paste them here, and that should work for you. Right, so you can see now that this has become a parent, right? It's a happy parent and it's proud of its children, right? So telling us, look, I have a child, that you want to see my child. When I click that, it takes us to its child, right? So that's the beauty of that. Now we have something